Well, hey friends, welcome back to the podcast. This is podcast episode number 90, Monday Fire 90, where we're going to be talking about wisdom and options and how there is wisdom in having options. So let me tell you, as a female, as a wife, when I don't like options. Like when Jason says, where do you want to go for dinner? Like that feels sometimes like, just another decision, like another option, and I don't want to decide those types of things. But let me tell you when I do love options. I love options when it comes to setting up your business in a way that if anything was to shift or change, or 2020 would happen, or you get kicked off Facebook, or Facebook ads go through the roof, or any of those things, like you have other options put in place already in your business so that you don't end up going under. It's interesting because we've had some different times in my business where things have happened, and I've been really glad that there have been other ways of making money. Let me give you an example. When we first adopted Ari, for instance, if for any of you who have ever adopted, and she was 4 when we first met her and brought her into our family, it took a lot of emotional energy and it took just a lot of focus for a little while. I was not able to actually launch anything during that time. In fact, I didn't launch anything probably for a good 5 or 6 months. Because I really needed to focus on her. And so I wasn't going to launch my course or, I didn't want to do any one-on-one coaching or anything like that during that time, but I was so glad I had a membership group at that time because it gave me the option of kind of like taking my foot off the gas in all the other ways in my business of making money and just relying on the one that required the least of me. That feels really vulnerable to say, but it required the least of me. And for those of you who may be wondering, there are 8 different ways that we make money here at Team Allwood. There are 8 different ways that I bring in money. I'm going to give you, because I know somebody's going to send me a message on Instagram and they're going to ask. So I have a course. I had an ebook that's for sale. I used to do videos. I used to do painting videos. You guys know that. I make ad revenue. We make ad revenue when people advertise on this podcast, when people go to the Jennifer Allwood home page. There's, it's my blog. We make YouTube revenue. I do sponsored content, very little anymore, but I used to do a lot more when I would go into Hobby Lobby. I would go into Pier 1, Nebraska Furniture Mart, and they would pay me for Facebook Live videos. We make affiliate income when you see me recommending another course or I'm recommending products on my Instagram. That's affiliate income. We have my paid membership group, which is called the Inner Circle, which we have several thousand members in. On occasion, I still do a little bit of one-on-one coaching and consulting. I haven't done any yet in 2021, but I had 3 or 4 clients that I did that for in Q4 of last year. And then we do have just a few products that we sell online. I've got my book, I've got keychains, I've got some coffee mugs that I'll say fear is not the boss of you, that sort of thing. So that is 8 different ways that we actually bring in revenue. Now, here's the really cool thing. If you go to Google and you literally type in, how many revenue streams does the average millionaire have? It comes up 7. And then what's really interesting is if you go to the Bible in Ecclesiastes 11:2, it talks about having 7 ventures. Yes, even 8, it says, for you don't know what disaster may come upon your land. It's like the Bible was writing about 2020. And what's really cool is when the Bible and Google are in cahoots and they agree on something. I mean, when does that ever happen? Right. And so I'm saying all that to say that having more than one way of making money in your business is so important because you just never know when things are going to shift. Like right now, if you're only making money on Etsy, that's really scary. What if Etsy shuts you down? And I know that you think that it won't until they do. Until all the people who have been shut down on Etsy, they didn't think they'd get shut down on Etsy. I know you don't think you'll ever lose your Facebook page until you do, which I have. I know you think that MLM company, that network marketing company that you work for is never going to change anything until it does. And I've watched time and time again, people frantic, heartbroken, and feeling desperate because they only had one way that they were bringing in revenue. And that way was dependent on somebody else. And the rules changed. And when the rules changed, they were affected. And now they're like, now what do I do? I wish that I had something else in place. So listen, I am all for network marketing. I am all for you being on Etsy if that's what you want to do, but I'm also all for you having the wisdom of having more than one thing in place should you need it. Okay. So if you're relying on one revenue stream, you literally do have all of your eggs in one basket. And if the basket gets dropped, the basket gets stolen, the basket gets knocked over, whatever, I just don't want you to be without options. Okay. So there's wisdom in having options. If like I said, if you were using Etsy, that's one of the examples I give. If you're an MLM, that's one of the examples I give. Another one I'm going to give you though, that's really vulnerable that I've never really talked about on my podcast is this. Last year, we were launching my course, which was the Creator's Roadmap and will now be the Better Way program. We were launching my course on the day that Kobe Bryant's helicopter crash happened, which was tragic, right? Tragic. Okay. Well, in case you don't know kind of how the online space works, when there's something that happens in the news, let's say that sort of a tragedy, let's say something political happens, let's say, the whole thing with GameStop, let's say you're in an election season, all of those things affect sales in the online space. They all affect Facebook ad costs. They all affect people showing up to your challenge. They all affect all of the things. And so it was really interesting we launched my course that evening and people were they were distracted. We didn't have as many people show up live for the webinar as what we thought that we would. The people that were there was a lot of talk in the chat about, how sad of a day it was. And we had some people comment on my Facebook ads, like, I can't believe you're talking about launching on a day when Kobe Bryant died. And, so it was literally somebody actually even put that on one of my Instagram posts. So I'm trying to give you some examples here of things that are out of your control. And when you actually realize that so little of life is in your control, so little of your business is actually in your control, it will start making you think, okay, so what could I do here to kind of insulate myself? How can I actually have, some things put in place that should anything in the world go sideways, shift, Facebook changes anything, should anything, just in America, go crazy, which, hello, have you been here for the last year and a half? Then what do I have in place that can make sure that I still have options so that I can still put food on the table for my family so we can still make our mortgage? The better way of setting up your business is to have a business with options. That's the wise way. The Bible literally says in Proverbs, like, do not forsake wisdom. She will protect you. Love her. She will watch over you. Like literally the Bible talks about wisdom all over the place. In the book of James, it says, ask for wisdom and God will give it to you. Ask for wisdom. Wisdom is making sure that not all of your eggs are in one basket. Wisdom is making sure that your business is not completely dependent upon somebody else's rules. Wisdom is making sure that you have things in place so that I used to say to my team, if I get hit by a Mack truck tomorrow, and they're like, would you stop saying that and say something like, if you retire to Fiji tomorrow? So wisdom is, if somebody retires to Fiji tomorrow, that you're still able to make ends meet. You're still able to make payroll. You're still able to make sure that your kids can do soccer lessons, private school, what have you. So we are getting ready to do a 5-day boot camp. It's called the Better Way Bootcamp because the better way of setting up your business is figuring out how God designed you and how you actually are wired for a few of the revenue streams, probably for sure, but how you're also not wired for a couple of the other ones so that you're not worried about putting all these revenue streams into your business that are actually not going to be profitable. You're actually going to hate it. It feels like you're wearing a shirt that's too small. Nobody likes that. And so it's the better way of doing business is figuring out which of the revenue streams fits you and how do you implement those into your business. This is what we're doing in my Better Way Bootcamp. I would love for you to join me there. Go to betterwaybootcamp.com where we're going to talk about the options that you have as a business owner. If you have a brick and mortar, please also have something in the online space. Every brick and mortar figured out this year how important the online space was when your doors were shut down. If you are in network marketing, please have something that you do in addition to that. So if you're selling supplements, also sell do affiliate links for some yoga mats plus workout clothes. Also, you could have like a paid group where people learn about your supplements. Also, you could have an ebook of like supplement recipes. I'm thinking about my friend Kara Robina. I think she has like a whole ebook full of like smoothie recipes. Like there's other things you can do in addition to the main way that you have of making money. And even if you're making the majority of your money in one way, you've still got the other ways set up so that if something was to happen, and I know we all pray that it doesn't, right? But if 2020 has taught us anything, it's that things happen. 2020 happens. I'm gonna like trademark that. 2020 happened. If that year taught us anything, is that we need a backup plan. You need a backup plan. So come join me at betterwaybootcamp.com. We're going to be starting real soon where we're doing the 5 days of me teaching you all the different ways of making money in the online space. We're going to be taking some tests. We're going to be talking about the Enneagram. We're going to be talking about introvert versus extrovert. We're going to talk about what fits you best so that you have some ideas of your options in the online space. And that's wisdom, my friends. I will see you there. Bye-bye.